Continuation of Genesis chapter 2. I'm going to start from verse 4. This is mostly explaining more about the creation story, like in details, how some part of it took place and what happened after God created man. Yes. So when we read from Genesis chapter 2 verses 4 going on until 25, if God allows, it says, "These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens." Verses 5, "And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul." Wow. Verses 8, it says, "And the Lord God planted a garden eastwards of Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed." Verses 9, "And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it was parted and became 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is it which encompasses the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good, and there is bdellium and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon, the same is that encompasses the whole land of Cush. The name of the third river is Tigris, that is it which goes towards the east of Assyria, and the fourth river is Euphrates. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to work it and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat." Verses 17, "But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it, for in the day that you eat thereof you shall surely die." And the Lord God said, "It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper suitable for him." And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowler of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was its name. And Adam gave name to all cattle, and to all fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helper suitable for him. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up its place with flesh. And from the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed." That's verses 25. Genesis chapter 2 has 25 verses. Chapter 2 is very interesting because it says there was no rain on earth, but there was mist which watered the whole ground. So, like the plants there were being watered by mist, because the Lord had not caused it to rain. And then chapter 2 verse 7, it explains that God formed man from the dust of the ground. So after he had formed man from the dust of the ground, he breathed into his nostrils, that's very deep, the breath of life, and man became a living soul. That's Genesis chapter 2 verse 7. Man became a living soul not after he had been formed from the dust, but after God breathed the breath of life to his nostrils. He became a living soul. Then God planted a garden eastward of Eden. I believe Eden was a place. Then God planted a garden. On the east side of it, he put man. Then, according to this chapter, it says there was a river that was flowing in that garden of Eden. In Eden, see, now man is in the eastward side, where there's a garden that has been planted. Now there was a river flowing through Eden. Then when the river got to that eastward side where the man was, it was divided into 4 heads, like how a river can be divided into 4 branches. The name of the first branch was Pison, first branch of the river that has now divided when it has gotten to the east side of Eden was Pison. The second branch was Gihon. The third branch of this big river was Tigris. And the fourth one is Euphrates. I'm betting those people who know the world more would probably know how to locate where Eden is by just figuring out where these branches of the rivers are. Wherever they are, that's where Eden is. But me, I don't know the earth. Okay, so now God has put man on the eastward side, planted a garden, this river flowing through there, and then God now is in the Garden of Eden. Man is in the Garden of Eden. He's supposed to work and keep it. And then God commanded man, telling him he can eat any plant that is there, because he had made them all, apart from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because if on that day that he would eat it, he would surely die. He says, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it, for in the day that you eat thereof you shall surely die. And then in still chapter 2, God says it's not good for man to stay alone. He will find him a suitable helper. But the interesting thing to me is that before he got him a suitable helper, God brought every beast of the field, of the air, like every living creature that had been there before. You remember that the living creatures were formed a day before man was formed, yeah? So when God said in verses 18 that he would find man a suitable helper, the next verse, he doesn't go and find him a suitable helper. He brings every living creature first to Adam for him to name. Then it says that Adam gave names to every creature. Verses 20 says, and Adam gave names to all cattle and to fowl of the air and to every beast of the field. It's interesting. God said he will find him a helper. Then he brought the creatures. Clearly, if one creature would have been a suitable helper for Adam, Adam would have noticed it, because before he met woman, every creature was brought to him and he named them. And then it says, but for Adam there was not found a helper suitable for him. This is the same verse that mentions that Adam is naming every creature. So clearly no animal was found to be a helper for Adam. And then now after he's named everything, he's met all the animals, none is his suitable helper. Verses 21 says, And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. So Adam ashanimwa all animals. God caused him to fall into a deep sleep, and while he slept, God took one of his ribs and closed up its place with flesh. So where the rib was, God closed it up with flesh. And from the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, made he woman and brought her unto man. This is very interesting. Adam is just from naming all animals. No suitable helper is found of him. So immediately God just makes him to sleep, takes out one of his ribs, creates woman, and now the woman is taken to the man just like the other creatures were taken to man to see. I'm probably guessing to see if she would be a suitable helper for him. And Adam said, verses 23, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and are not ashamed." So the woman was created after all animals were named, after Adam had met all creatures, and now she was found to be a suitable helper for him. Very interesting stuff here.